At the request of the Europeans, he stemmed the tide of would-be African migrants who were crossing Libya bound for Europe.
Muammar Gaddafi, public enemy number one in America, gave an interview to an Irish television team which caused a hum on the international wire services with his words.
And if I were the leader of the south of Ireland, I would consider that the north is colonized and I would fight to liberate that part of my country. And that my country is deficient in its independence in that case.
The Irish government protested very strongly to Libya after those remarks by Major Jaloud and said that the provisional IRA was the enemy of the state. It was not supported by the people. Do you accept that?
حكومة إيرلندا الشمالية احتجت على الملاحظات اللي أديها الرئيس جلود وتعتبر أن ذلك مساندة للجيش الإيرلندي يعتبر تدخل في شؤون داخلية.
بالعكس يجب أن نشكر نحن على تأييدنا لقضيتكم.
On the contrary, we should be thanked for our position on your country.
كيف إذا أنتم أيدتوا القضية الفلسطينية نحن نشكركم.
If you support the Palestinian cause, we thank you.
لأن فلسطين جزء من الوطن العربي ومحتل.
Palestine is part of the Arab homeland and it is occupied.
فأي واحد بيأيد تحريرها نحن نشكره نعتبره حليف.
So whoever supports its liberation, we thank him.
Have you actually supplied weapons or money directly to the IRA?
أولا نحن ملتزمين بتأييد هذه القضية نعتبرها قضية عادلة.
We are obliged to support such a cause and we think it is a just one.
Do I take it from that answer that yes, you have supplied arms and money?
أنا ما قلتش هكذا.
I have not said that.
ولكن ملتزم بتأييد قضية شمال إيرلندا.
But we are obliged to support the Northern Ireland cause.
كقضية تحرير.
As a liberation cause.
وقضية عادلة.
As a just cause.
ووجود البريطاني يعتبر وجود استعماري.
And which presence is considered as a colonialist presence.
ويجب على الشباب الإيرلندي في جزيرة إيرلندا كلها أن يشترك في تحرير شمال الجزيرة.
And all the youth, the Irish youth in the north and the south should participate in the struggle of the liberation.
شمال الجزيرة.
In the north of the island.
That you support revolution and terrorism all over the world, and therefore they can't do business with you. That's what they say. How would you reply to that?
Revolution is just cause, and it is the right of people to make a revolution. America did the revolution, Britain did the revolution, France did the revolution, China, every country in the world. And we support this just issue, I mean the revolution. But terrorism, we are against terrorism absolutely. They act terrorism against us, an official one. Britain and America, not against Libya only, against all people. They terrorize all the peoples in the world by their fleets, by their sections, by their arms, by economically. It is the language of Britain and America, the language of terrorism, of weapons, of war.
But Britain in particular would argue that you support organizations like the IRA, which base their policy on terrorism.
We believe the cause of Ireland is a just cause. and we support this just cause. Because we believe Ireland is Ireland and Britain is Britain, and the existence of Britain in the north of Ireland is the existence of colonization, and these people fight to get rid of this colonization. It is just a fight, and we support it.
But does that mean, Leader Gaddafi, does that mean supporting people who place bombs and who kill and maim innocent people?
We are not responsible about this means. We support the cause.
You don't give them weapons and money?
We support the cause because it is just one, but we are not responsible and involved in any acts, particularly that they do. It is their responsibility.
Then came news that sent a shockwave through Libya. Egypt, under President Sadat, Nasser's successor, made a separate peace with Israel, and it did so with backing from Washington. This time, Gaddafi swapped his military uniform for the mufti favored by Palestinian guerrillas.
Can you present a real alternative to Sadat here?
Why speak also about Sadat? Who is Sadat? We speak about the Arab rights and the Palestinian people, how to restore his land, how to establish his state on his land, how to liberate their country.
Disappointed and rejected by the Arab states, Gaddafi had found a new cause. In Tripoli, he welcomed Yasser Arafat of the Palestinian Liberation Organization and leaders of the PFLP, the spearhead of Palestinian terrorism. From then on, he used his enormous resources to fund armed struggle.
If you take perhaps the most deadly of all the Palestinian groups at that time, the Abu Nidal organization was established in Libya, and Gaddafi had made a habit of supporting or appearing to support terrorist groups from all over the world. Particular interest to Britain, of course, was the IRA, the Irish Republican Army.
We had satellite photos of training camps in Libya, and these were not military training, they were guerrilla training people how to go around blowing up things and that sort of thing.
Live from Tripoli, an interview with the leader of Libya, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Colonel Gaddafi, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What kind of relationship do you want now with the United States?
Anyhow, I want a normal relationship with the United States as any other relation with any other state in the world, particularly the relationship with any big power like Soviet Union or other big states in the world, just like you want.
Do you consider your relations normal now with the United States?
No, of course it is not normal.
How do you expect your relations to change with the expulsion of your diplomats?
First of all, we have no diplomats. It is a popular bureau formed by the Libyan people. I didn't sign any paper regarding this bureau. I didn't appoint any one of them. They have chosen by the people them itself. They are not diplomats. And I think the masses that formed this people bureau will form another one in America. We have thousands of students in the United States of America. I think they will form a new one instead of this process, the bureau. It is the responsibility of the masses because it is Jamahiriya. The authority is in the hand of the people itself.
So you don't consider the men who have been expelled by the United States as diplomats?
No, we have no diplomats in the world at all after the authority of the people since 1977, when the authority of the people took place in that time. We have no government, no ministers, no Ministry of Foreign Affairs, no Minister of Foreign Affairs. Here in Tripoli also there is a popular committee which is responsible for the foreign affairs, and it is a link between the people, the Libyan people, and the other states and peoples in the world. It is not official department.
Colonel, what kind of retaliation can the United States expect for the expulsion?
I don't expect now anything because it is not a serious state. We lost nothing. It is only it is not a reasonable step from the United States of America against a state like my country, and there is no justification to expel this popular bureau from your country, because it is to link a good relationship between Libyan people and American people, and the government of America has no right to cross this popular bureau. I think it is against the interests of United States of America itself, not against my country. I am not nervous, I am very quiet, very calm now, but I am sorry to see big power like America behave his childish behavior like this, and juvenile or childish behavior like this. It is not suitable for a big power like America to do this.
So you do not intend then to use oil as a weapon of retaliation?
It is another matter. Oil is our, and it is a weapon in our hands. We have the full right to use it when it is necessary.
But it's not necessary now, in your opinion?
It is due to the Libyan people itself through the basic popular congresses. They may discuss this matter and decide what is suitable and what is right.
Colonel Gaddafi, there are some 2,000 Americans living in Libya. Can you assure their safety and freedom, or should they now leave your country?
No, they are our guests, and they are people who are helping us, and we are cooperating with them for mutual interests between Libya and America, and nothing will happen to them until the situation deteriorates. I hope it will not be so. Now, I think nothing will be towards this people who are here now. We are not like America. We are wise. We have responsibility towards others and towards the world. We are a nation of civilization, not like America. We behave very calm and rightful, and I think nothing will hurt them.
You say until the situation deteriorates. What did you mean by that? Deteriorates in what way?
It is in the side of America, in United States of America, deteriorates itself the situation by any new childish manner, childish behavior, like what is happening now, because this step of crossing our popular bureau in America, it is without any justification. It is unreasonable action, and according to this, America might do some steps like this, which is not responsible action.
Are you expecting some further action by the United States against you? I'll repeat that question. Are you expecting some further action by the United States against you?
No one can expect what the United States of America can do, because the policy of America is not a reasonable policy. It is out of any international responsibility. And I think that America has no right to do anything against my country, because we do what is right, what is justice, what is our right to do.
Colonel, you are anti-communist. How do you explain your close relationship then with the Soviet Union?
It is not necessary if I am not a communist that my relation will be bad with the Soviet Union. My relation is very good with the Soviet Union. Soviet Union is our friend. And I am not a communist, not capitalist. I am socialist, Jamahiriya, progressive. I don't see any contradiction between my good relationship with the Soviet Union and because I am not a communist.
You share.
Yes.
I was going to ask you. You share the Soviet Union's basic political goals in the world.
Pardon? Would you repeat this?
Yes, sir. Do you share the Soviet Union's basic political goals in the world? Let me ask it another way. Are you and the Soviet Union, do you and the Soviet Union agree in political terms as to what the future of the world should hold?
I understand you now. No, sometimes we agree about some international matters, and sometimes we disagree. Because Soviet Union is Soviet Union, and Libya is Libya. Every one of us has his own interests and has his own strategy in the world, and his different policy and social system and political system, which is different also. But he is our friend, besides all this.
We have read the figure here in the United States that you have purchased $12 billion in arms from the Soviet Union. Is that correct, sir?
I don't know exactly the number, but is it true or not? But anyhow, we buy weapons from Soviet Union and from other countries like Britain, Italy, and France, and China, and other countries.
It's been suggested that many of those arms that you have bought have been placed there as a kind of staging area for the Soviet Union. Is that true?
No, of course it is not true. We have weapons only for defense for our service, and these weapons are not enough now for sufficient defense. We need more weapons to defend our country, and we will not allow the Soviet Union to store any weapons for it in my country. We refuse such things.
Military commentators say that you already have far more arms and tanks and planes than your army of 40,000 men could possibly ever use.
We have armed people. We are going now to get rid of the legal army. The legal army will disappear in this Jamahiriya society, Jamahiriya, the state of masses. The state of masses will have no legal army, no government. Now there is no government, and the legal army will disappear. Therefore, we need weapons for the people, the armed people. Every citizen must have weapon, not in his house, but in the store, and he need it in time of defense for his
defense from what, Colonel Gaddafi?
Against whom, you mean?
Against whom, yes.
Is there any enemy who might attack my country, might attack my people? My people must be armed and be ready to face any aggression.
How do you answer charges that Libya is involved in promoting and supporting and training international terrorists?
This accusation without any justification, also no evidence that we support or promote terrorism. We are against terrorism, absolutely, and we should law, very severe law against any terrorist action. Therefore, we are absolutely against terrorism. But now we must clarify the meaning of terrorism. What is that terrorism? We consider the manufacturing of nuclear weapon is a terrorist action, and establishing foreign military bases in the land of others, it is also terrorism, and make people suffering from famine to keep food for them, it is also terrorism. And hijacking airplanes and seize honest people to be victim of this action, it is also terrorism, but it is very small one in the comparison of the big action of terrorism, which is America is doing now, by feeding others, by its fleets, by its bases, by famine people, giving wheat not to sell and to give to the poor people, and so on.
It is frequently reported that, let me list some of the places you are said to have given assistance to, some of the so-called terrorists, and ask if it's true. Did you not train and later give sanctuary to the terrorists who attacked the Israeli athletes at the Munich Olympics?
No, we haven't any relation with this accident, and we heard about it in the media, as you heard.
But you deny that?
No, we have no intention or no decision to do such bad things, which is considered as a terrorism. But we support the struggle of the peoples for the freedom, for the independence, like the people of Palestine. We support its struggle because it is justice cause.
Do you give support to the Irish Republican Army?
No support, no material support, but spiritual one. Yes, we consider it is justice cause, because Ireland is Ireland and Britain is Britain. The existence of Britain in this place is colonization, and our evidence is the struggle which is going now severely in this area, and these leaders of the Irish army who are dying now of hunger in the jail for this cause. They have cause, they have justice cause. They want to be independent.
Did you send support to the Italian Red Brigades?
No, we are against the Red Brigades, and we consider them a terrorist group, in fact.
To the guerrillas in El Salvador?
No, it is far from us, and we support the people of El Salvador. We hope these people will succeed to restore its stability and dignity and freedom. Support the people, but no relationship between us and these people. It is far from us, and we have nothing to do with it.
It has also been charged, Colonel, that your government has sent killer squads to assassinate Libyans living abroad, of whom 11 have been killed. Is that true?
First of all, we have no government. There are some few people, Libyan people, who are royal ones, and they got big quantities of money and got out. This money belonged to the Libyan people, and they did some crimes against their country, and they support now the foreign intelligence against the security of Libya, and therefore the revolutionary committees, they hold a court, a revolutionary court made a decision and decided to punish some of them. They will be judged to death or sentenced to death or something like this. There are very few people. It is according to the judgment of this revolutionary court.
Do you support that effort?
Excuse me, is it clear? Is the answer clear?
Yes, I was just wondering if you personally supported that. I noticed that you said some time ago that you ordered Libyan exiles to return home or they would be executed. I assume that you support this effort to execute these people then.
No, I didn't say like this. I told them they must come back to be safety, to be safety, yes. Otherwise, I can't protect them abroad. Therefore, the revolutionary committees, maybe after them, they may eliminate them. Therefore, I declare that if you come back to your country, you will be safety. I guarantee you. But outside, no one can protect you. That I declare.
The FBI here in the United States, Colonel, says that your government was behind the attempted assassination of a man here in our state of Colorado, a Libyan exile. Is that true? It was an attempted assassination. The man lived.
I don't think it is true, and I didn't hear about this accident. But I can assure that no one will be killed outside without justice and revolutionary trial.
Colonel Gaddafi, many countries in Africa and in Europe are worried that your armed military intervention in the neighboring country of Chad means that you plan to annex Chad and maybe the Niger and other countries in your enlarged Libyan Pan-Islamic Republic. What are your aims in Africa?
We have no plan towards this area. We want stability, independence, progression for all these continental and for all these countries. particularly in Africa. It is our continent that we have no other intention towards this area.
Why did you say when your troops went into Chad that Chad was part of Libya's needed living space?
No, it is not true. The security of Chad, it touches the security of Libya, of course. But we sent our troops to Chad in accordance with the mutual defense agreement of defense between us and the national government of Chad, and according to the request of this government to help it for stability and for peace. Yes, and my troops put an end for a civil war which continued about 20 years, and now this civil war ended, and now Chad is living in peace and security, and now is turning to build itself after starting this war.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Colonel Gaddafi, our time for this interview is up. Thank you very much for joining us and from Tripoli, Libya this evening. Good night. And thank you, Jim. Good night. That's all for tonight. We will be back tomorrow night. I'm Robert McNeil. Good night.
But what about Islam in its social role? Will Islam as a religion, as a structure, play the kind of part that it has perhaps played in other Islamic countries?
I believe as it is written in Quran and in the Bible also. And what I can say not about Libya but all the world, I wish for all the world, especially the Catholic world, must go back to the words of Jesus and the words of God and read the Bible again and again, because now they are acting against the Bible, against the words of Jesus, against the words of God. That I want, and that my wish for all the Catholic world and all the world peoples in the world in this new year.
Do you think that Libya has an important role to play in trying to get a Middle East peace settlement. And I'm talking now particularly about a settlement involving the Israelis.
No, neither Libya nor any other country on other side, there is no possibility. There is no possibility for peace because Israelis or Jews established a state in Palestine, and they denied Palestine itself geographically, and there is a Palestinian people, and also they denied there is a people which is Palestinian people, and they are armed camp, and now they obtained nuclear weapons, and imperialism are behind them. It is not easy for all these aggressive parties to leave Palestine for the Palestinian people. It is not easy, unless by force. From America in this case.
What do you think of the recent uprising on the West Bank? On the uprising by the Palestinians on the West Bank, on the occupied West Bank of Israel. What do you think about that uprising?
It is the beginning of the Palestinian revolution to liberate Palestine as a whole. And this revolution will advance towards the other parts of Palestine, which was occupied in 1948. It is normal. It is normal for me. People occupied by Israelis. They occupied his homeland since 1948. They have the right to fight, to liberate their homeland. It is normal.
You talked about America as the enemy. When you look forward, the possibility, or the inevitability, in fact, a new administration will take over next year, do you think there is any possibility of better relations between America and Libya?
Not now. I expect it after Reagan. Any new American president will not follow this foolish man, Reagan. He will be reasonable, I think, and he will get lessons from the regime of Reagan, because America lost much during the regime of Reagan. I expect the relation will be maybe good after Reagan.
You think it will be much better?
It is not better at all, but I expect this after Reagan, but not during the Reagan regime. I believe any new American president will not be foolish like Reagan, because America lost much during Reagan's regime, and America will try to restore its reputation and its interests that damaged by Reagan's hostile policy, not against Libya, only against all peoples in the world.
But will Libya be also trying to build new relations with a new American administration?
We did nothing, in fact, to harm these relations. We have good intentions towards America or other countries in the world to have good relations with them.
But America destroyed this relation, and we exhibit any efforts to make good relation with America or any other country.
What about relations with the United Kingdom, with Britain? Do you think that there's a chance of improving Libya's relations with Britain?
No, because Britain is like America, and Britain is following America. I don't think Britain is an independent country during Thatcher's regime. We consider Britain is a colony for America.
The United States hoped that the strike against Gaddafi would deter other sponsors of terrorism, such as the Syrian President Hafez al-Assad and the Iranian mullahs. Gaddafi was stunned. Neither his army, nor his friends in the Arab world, nor the Soviets had been of any help. He was stunned, but as threatening as ever.
أنا معمر القذافي نستطيع أن نشكل جيش أممي من المقاتلين ضد الإمبريالية وضد الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية بالذات، وهذا الجيش سينتشر في جميع أنحاء الأرض لتدمير الوجود الأمريكي في أي مكان.
2 years later, a series of terrorist attacks shocked the world. In December 1988, a Pan Am flight exploded in midair and crashed on the Scottish village of Lockerbie. 270 people died. There was no credible claim of responsibility. Nine months later, a DC-10 of the French airline UTA was also destroyed by a bomb. Rescuers found 170 bodies scattered in the desert. After 2 years of laborious investigation with little to go on, the French and the Americans accused Libyan intelligence. The bombings were seen as Gaddafi's revenge on his French and American enemies who had both bombed Libya.
Well, we never talked directly about that, but I talked to other people, and the feeling was that this comes from his upbringing in the middle of the desert, where you have the philosophy of eye for an eye, you see. And in both cases, he felt there was justification.
Gaddafi, moi je lui en ai parlé, il m'a dit, bon, c'est pas la Libye. La Libye ne fait pas d'attentats, il ne fait pas de terrorisme, etc. Mais il n'est pas impossible qu'il y ait des Libyens qui étaient récupérés par d'autres services de terroristes. Possible qu'il y ait des Libyens. Donc, pour ça qu'il a reconnu une semi-responsabilité. Ça lui permet de sauver la face.
But there was another hypothesis, that Libyan intelligence had not acted alone. Two other states, Iran and Syria, came under suspicion as silent partners in the bombings, particularly in the case of Lockerbie.
I can tell you without any doubt that initially the understanding was that it was not Libya, but that it was Iran. Now, of course, I can't reveal to you the evidence I saw at that time, but there was evidence. It wasn't just speculation.
Well, it was under the tent, about 60 miles south of Tripoli, and it was a pretty perfunctory interview, and at the end I said, well, now you're going to tell me what really happened in Pan Am 103. I said, now is the time to, even if it's not for publication, off the record, but tell me what really happened as you saw it, as you understood it. And he said, well, and he dismissed everybody in the tent, and it was just him and me. And he said, well, you remember that the U.S. Navy shot down a peaceful Iran Airbus flying between Bandar Abbas and Dubai, and the U.S. Navy shot it down, and then the U.S. Navy claims it was a mistake, and they apologized, but retaliation, he said, had to be done. how does retaliation happen in this part of the world or in the Middle East? He said they obviously had to ask help from another country, a friendly service. So they subcontracted the retaliation to one of the Syrian intelligence services. And we all know there are about 14 intelligence services in Syria, so I don't know which one. And they then subcontracted to our own intelligence service.
Al-Qaeda and its leader, Osama bin Laden, were Gaddafi's mortal enemies. He'd been hunting them for years.
On est donc clairement dans un moment de tension internationale fort. Kadhafi a condamné les attentats du 11 septembre. Il me dit à ce moment-là qu'il avait mis en garde contre Al-Qaïda. Et nous, à l'Occident, procès d'avoir soutenu Ben Laden dans d'autres circonstances et sur d'autres théâtres d'opération.
It must have been a very comfortable feeling to be able to say, for example, that Libya had issued through Interpol a warrant for the arrest of bin Laden 2 years before the Americans did.
Al-Qaeda had tried to kill him on several occasions before 9/11. The Libyans were already cooperating with us on counter-terrorism, and indeed that had begun many years before. And the line the Libyans had taken was that we in the West were steadily underestimating the threat posed by Al-Qaeda. They warned us many times that we were not taking this threat seriously enough.
Gaddafi had sounded the alarm.
شو سبب تدمير العراق وغزو العراق وقتل مليون عراقي؟ وخلاص لقانا الامريكان يجاوبونا على السؤال اللي حاير، لماذا العراق؟ شو سببه؟ بن لادن عراقي؟ ما هو عراقي، اللي ضربوا نيويورك عراقيين؟ ما هم عراقيين. اللي يضربوا البنتاغون عراقيين ما هم عراقيين. في أسلحة دمار شامل عند العراق ما عندها. وحتى لو عند العراق أسلحة دمار شامل، باكستان عندها قنبلة ذرية، والهند عندها قنبلة ذرية، والصين وروسيا وبريطانيا وفرنسا وأمريكا ما كلها عندها قنابل ذرية، كلها بيدمروها كويس. فندمر كل الدول اللي عندها أسلحة دمار شامل. تجي قوة أجنبية تحتل دولة عربية وتشنق رئيسها واحنا نتفرج عليهم ونضحكوا. وليش ما نحقوا في شنق صدام حسين؟ كيف يصير حرب يشنق ورئيس دولة عربية عضو في الجامعة العربية؟ لما تكلموا عن سياسة صدام حسين والخلافة معاه السياسيين، كلنا مختلفين سياسيين معاه، مختلفين حتى مع بعضنا نحن الآن. ما في حاجة تجمعنا أبدا إلا القاعة هذه. ليش ما يكون فيها تحقيق في مقتل صدام حسين؟ قيادة عربية بالكامل تقتل تشنق في المشانق راح نتفرج. لماذا؟ وممكن الدور جاي عليكم كلكم. نعم. ليش أمريكا قاتلت مع صدام حسين ضد الخميني؟ كان صديقها. تشيني كان صديق لصدام حسين. رامي السلدي كان وزير دفاع الأمريكا لما كان يدمروا في العراق، صديق حميم لصدام حسين، وأخيرا باعوه وشنقوه. حتى أنتم أصدقاء أمريكا، نحن أصدقاء أمريكا، بلاش نقول أنتم، نحن أصدقاء أمريكا كلنا قد توافق أمريكا على شنقنا في يوم ما.
حمد، أهنيك بتوليك رئاسة القمة، وبهذه المناسبة أقول لأخي عبد الله يعني 6 سنوات وأنت هارب وخايف من المواجهة، ما تخاف، بس بقول لك بعد 6 سنوات ثبت أنك أنت اللي الكذب وراك والقبر قدامك، وأنت هو اللي صنعتك بريطانيا وحاميتك أمريكا.
يا أخي معمر، فيه رؤساء يتكلمون
حمد، ومن احترام للأمة، واعتبر المشكل الشخصي الذي بيني وبينك قد
الميكروفون،
وانا مستعد لزيارتك وانك انت تزورني
يا اخي معمر. رجاء نقطة نظام.
وعميد الحكام العرب وملك ملوك افريقيا وامام المسلمين، مكانتي العالميه ما تسمح لي اني ننزل لاي مستوى اخر، وشكرا. هل المقاعد الدائمه هل نحن متساويين فيها؟ ابدا، غير متساويين، منبر الخطابه فقط زي ما تخطب في حديقه.
J'ai dit au président Kadhafi combien il fallait continuer à progresser sur le chemin des droits de l'homme. Dans tous ses aspects, tout ce qu'il restait à faire.
Le président Nicolas Sarkozy a indiqué hier qu'il vous avait demandé de progresser sur le chemin des droits de l'homme.
Tout d'abord, nous n'avons pas évoqué, moi et le président Sarkozy, ces sujets. Nous sommes amis et proches collaborateurs.
Ça n'a pas été évoqué.
Pas du tout, absolument pas. Nous avons évoqué les questions de coopération entre les deux pays. Nous avons évoqué tous ces contrats dans différents domaines et dans l'intérêt des deux pays.
But you also recently said that the Middle East would be better off with Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and Assad in power. How does...
I didn't say Assad, but we certainly have not gained anything with Gaddafi. And you look at what happened. I mean, look at Libya. Look at Iraq. Iraq used to be no terrorists. He would kill the terrorists immediately. It was like, now it's the Harvard of terrorism. Iraq. If you look at Iraq from years ago, I'm not saying he was a nice guy, he was a horrible guy, but it was a lot better than it is right now. Right now, Iraq is a training ground for terrorists. Right now, Libya, nobody even knows Libya. Frankly, there is no Iraq and there is no Libya. It's all broken up. They have no control. Nobody knows what's going on.
So the world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power?
100%. Now, as far as Assad is concerned,
what about the human rights abuses?
Let's talk about, well, you don't think they're happening now? They're worse now than they ever were. People are getting their heads chopped off. They're being drowned. Right now, they're far worse than they were ever under Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi. I mean, look what happened. Libya is a catastrophe. You look at our ambassador as an example, okay? Libya is a disaster. Iraq is a disaster. Syria is a disaster. The whole Middle East. And it all blew up around Hillary Clinton and around Barack Obama. It all blew up. Now, one thing about Assad, not a good guy. I understand that. But we're backing and spending billions and billions of dollars on backing rebels that we have no idea who they are. And a lot of people think they're ISIS. I happen to think they're ISIS, but who knows? But we're spending billions of dollars to get Assad out with people that we have no idea who they are. I don't think that's smart. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's falling to pieces. We have 19 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
A man addressing an unseen crowd. Big strong boys for farm work, he says. 400. 700. 700. 800. The numbers roll in. These men are sold for 1,200 Libyan pounds, $400 apiece. You are watching an auction of human beings. Another man, claiming to be a buyer. Off camera, someone asks, what happened to the ones from Niger? Sold off, he's told. CNN was sent this footage by a contact. After months of working, we were able to verify the authenticity of what you see here. We decided to travel to Libya to try and see for ourselves. We're now in Tripoli and we're starting to get a little bit more of a sense of how this all works. Our contacts are telling us that there are 1 to 2 of these auctions every month and that there is one happening in the next few hours. So we're going to head out of town and see if we can get some sort of access to it. For the safety of our contacts, we have agreed not to divulge the location of this auction, but the town we're driving to isn't the only one. Night falls. We travel through nondescript suburban neighborhoods, pretending to look for a missing person. Eventually, we stop outside a house like any other. Adjust our secret cameras and wait. Finally, it's time to move. We're ushered into one of 2 auctions happening on this same night. Crouched at the back of the yard, a floodlight obscuring much of the scene. One by one, men are brought out as the bidding begins. 400. 500. 550. 600. 650. 700. Very quickly, it's over. We ask if we can speak to the men. The auctioneer, seen here, refuses. We ask again if we can speak to them, if we can help them. No, he says. The auction's over, we're told. And we're asked to leave.
But we say in the West that people should have certain things on their tombstone, certain words on their tombstone. What do you think most people would want to see on Muammar Gaddafi's tombstone? Gaddafi an angel or Gaddafi a villain?
ماذا تريد أن يكتب عنك؟
لا ما هو أسمع كلام السؤال الآخر.
لا يعني قصده سيدي مش نقول يعني قصدي بعد 100 سنين ماذا تريد أن نكتب عنك؟ ماذا تريد أن نكتب عنك سيدي بعد 100 سنين؟
ايه ما هو قالوا بعض الكلمات.
لا ما هو ما نبيش نقول يعني I don't want to. You got the message. I got the message.
لا يعني شو يريد ان انا قراني انا اللي عملت من اجل الاخرين.
That I worked for the others. To give service to the others. That's the last question.
So Gaddafi...
Nothing for myself.
Gaddafi the servant.
ممكن.
That's possible.
Could I finish on this note? And I thank you for...
One last question.
One last question. For a man who was regarded by many people in the West as a fearsome person and a danger to peace and democracy, how do you describe yourself to people who say that? Were we wrong about you?
طبعا بقول أنا مسامحهم لأن كانوا جهلة.
I forgive them. They were ignorant.
Thank you. That's very generous. That's very generous of you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.